Welcome to the next episode of the Fourth Show. We have a guest with us today, Gerald McGill.
Yo.
We're going to talk about black business. Had a topic on buying black, and you was there for it.
Somewhere. I caught the tail end of it. What I feel about black business is I think it's good for the economy. I think it's good for us. But at the same time, it's also kind of hard to define black because everything that we do is not 100% black. So, it's kind of like a touch and go with the word black on black business because none of us own 100% of everything. So, I kind of use that word buying black loosely for me.
Yeah, but buying black, even though we don't own things, like Travis, he said we should have a system in place before we start talking about buying black. And I'm like, hell, if you don't support them on this level, they ain't gonna make it to the next level. So what kind of system could change? Like what systems could do?
That's true. I don't think we could have a system for it. I think that the main thing we need to do, first of all, we need to know in our neighborhood, in our surrounding areas, who is black store owners or black business owners, because without us knowing that, it's almost hard for us to even go and even buy black because who we know buying black is from. You might have black people working at all these different stores, but that might not be a black owned store. So, we first have to know which stores are dedicated to being black owned stores and that's trying to promote themselves as that. Because without that, we won't even have a clue of how to buy black.
Do you ever, I ain't gonna say ever, but do you take an opportunity to go to a black owned restaurant or
for somewhere if I know that it's a black owner, say like Candy Restaurant, I plan on going there because I know, I want to support her and her business indoors and what she's doing because I know she's a black owned restaurant. It's not a lot of those. So definitely, of course, I want to promote that. If it was more stuff that I knew about, I'll be able to promote them too. But whenever I see somebody in a neighborhood selling something, I like to go to flea markets and stuff, especially out of town. And you really get a chance sometimes to see like the talent that black people have too. And I like to make sure I buy from them so they know that they have support also too and things like that too. So I think sometimes it's just more of a matter too. We don't even know what stores is black owned, white owned, this owned, that owned. So I think that's another step that we need to kind of put in place. Not a step in buying, but a step in knowing to help us out, so we know how to continue to help our brothers and sisters in this business.
But it's a lot of it's websites and all kind of information you could find out if you want to know.
See, I didn't know that.
And
I think that's a good idea. If it is websites and stuff in place for that kind of stuff, I think that's a great idea because that'll help you if you're looking for, say, you want to buy soap, you want to buy this kind of product. That's great that you can look those things up and be able to go and say, okay, well, I could go online. I could go, especially being in Atlanta. It's a lot of people like that. That's it. So I think that's great that it's things like that. I didn't know that.
Have you ever heard of WeBuyBlack.com?
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Did you see Killer Mike Triggered?
No. What's that?
It's like a episode. It's 7 episodes. It's on Netflix. Killer Mike's Triggered.
I gotta look at that.
And one day he decided that he was only gonna buy black for 3 days.
I heard about that. I didn't see it, but I heard him talking about it.
Yeah, so it's a whole episode. But WeBuyBlack.com is a thing. It's some black-owned supermarkets. It's a black-owned supermarket that's trying to start up in the city of Atlanta. It's a harvest thing right around the corner from me.
Damn, that's almost something we was talking about doing, though, the harvest. I didn't know it was black-owned with that.
Well, yeah, it's chickens, meat. They got Ben called me and asked me about it. But I passed by it and I didn't even know. And he was like, yeah, check it out. It's black owned. But I never know. So you're right. They do got to promote themselves or.
But with us talking, what you think would be the best way for us to get the black owned business out there? Because with the knowledge that you have in it and the knowledge that I'm lacking in it, how can we bridge the gap to get everybody to where they seeing that it's more stores and more businesses that we can support as black owners as a neighborhood? How could we bridge the gap between that and get everybody knowing the information you know?
I'm saying what we doing now, talking about it.
True.
Talking about it. It's a conversation, like putting it out there. That's all it started with a conversation.
It does.
And that's how I found out about it. Well, watching Killer Mike's show and doing research. And my wife, I guess she's a part of a business group. All the black businesses or restaurants, I guess, post in the group. And then you could go, hell, check out my Instagram. I got a bunch of black business restaurants and different things. I'm just saying, like, every time I see a black owned business or a good restaurant, just something to try. I mean, we eat out all the time.
Right.
If we can't eat at a black restaurant.
Right.
I mean, once a month. If you just take out the time once a month.
I think Killer Mike got a good idea because I think, if we took out every month and we really looked for it and dig for it and looked around for those things, I think that'll make a difference in the world too. Because the one thing that we know that even dealing with culture is, if you get culture enough to where you eating black or you buying black, those people gonna kind of promote themselves to you. They're gonna kind of have their business around it because of you. So, the flavors will be there, the sizes will be there. It's more of us knowing our people, and I think in the long run that would benefit the black male and the black female for us to start buying black.
As black people, do we, like, if we look at a black business, we'll compare it to a white business when the white business could have been in operation for 10, 20 years. And it's a brand new black business, and we'll compare it to that.
Well, that comes from slavery.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
And it's sad that we look to compare ourselves to something that's not even comparable, and we willing to get in competition with our brother instead of us promoting them and promoting ourselves. It's almost like if I could go somewhere and get a good drink, a good food, and you don't have to put yourself down, but you can let somebody know, hey, it's another black-owned restaurant. They tea, that's the best tea I ever had. It's different ways that we could always go and promote our brothers and sisters without trying to be in competition with them all the time. So I think that's a very good question, what you asked about the competition thing, because we put ourselves underneath the white man and we put ourselves better than the black man. And I think that's our biggest problem in business.
Yeah, because they were saying like, oh, the black restaurant charge more, or they'll get a like.
No, but
he was talking about
in a way that's
the
true.
Denzel movie, the Fences movie, when he said, oh, when the white man come in there, he'll give them all the meat, and then when I come in there, he give me all the potatoes. But I mean, come on, man, that's not true today, is it? I hope not.
The only truth to it is that as a black business owner, your resources and your reach to these resources is gonna be different. You're gonna have to pay a little bit more because you're looking for a superior product at the same time. Also, you're not looking to fill status quo. So for the black man and the black business owner, the thing that black people have to look at, they have to look at themselves sometimes. As a black business owner, we always trying to get the best. And the reason we trying to get the best is because we're the best. And I don't think sometimes that we recognize what kind of situation that a black business owner is trying to put us into. They have to overcompensate for everything they're doing because of the competition of the white of a different culture. So we have to fight, and we have to make sure that we putting ourselves in the best position to win by helping each other.
Yeah, that's true. And matter of fact, since we on the subject, let's big up a black-owned business that's right up the street from you. Chibi, you know the tattoo dude? He opened a restaurant next to it.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So you gotta go and check that out.
I got everybody
Me and my wife gotta go check that out.
Everybody check that out.
But man, I was just thinking, like, is that from ancient days where we compare ourselves to the world market and like compare our prices and compare everything, and we'll go shop somewhere else. Just
and
like even we'll look at the presidents. People, I hate to see black people down talk Obama. So my question was there a president that did more for the black community than Obama? Because everybody say, oh, Obama ain't do nothing for the black community. But that's just like a man having a bat and a goddamn knife.
Well, too, Obama's hands was tied.
Yeah.
It was only so much he could do for the black people, period. And his agenda going in gonna always oversee his nationality. You know, it's bigger than just him doing. Black people got to start doing for their goddamn self, number one. And that's the biggest truth that it is. Now Obama created an atmosphere to where the black man was all inclusive at the time when he was in office. Now, he did a lot of things for everybody, but hell, that's every president. You know, the thing about us, the white people had a lot of growth during Obama time too. So for black people to say that Obama didn't do shit for them, they didn't do shit for themselves. And that's where the biggest problem came from. We got to know how to come together and link up to do things bigger than what we doing. Because we don't even have the mindset. Every time somebody do something or somebody gets somewhere, all we doing is hating on them instead of trying to figure out how can we help them. You know, if we was here, if we helped Obama presidency instead of talking about it, that would have made his presidency a lot better. We had a couple of people, you had a couple of athletes speaking up, but imagine if you had the people that was in the neighborhoods going to police their own neighborhoods. Imagine if you had the moms and dad watching the kids and making sure their kids don't walk out the house or walk in the house with guns or walk out of the house with guns or started raising the kids. So as blacks, we got to stop talking about what ain't being done, what somebody else ain't doing, and we have to start doing for ourselves. You know, I raised my daughter to be a productive citizen of this society. I'm not hoping, I'm not wishing, and I'm not praying to God that it happened. I'm making sure that I'm being active in her life to make sure these things change in her life so she's productive and she's somebody that holds her own self accountable for the things that she do. And I think as black people, we got to start doing that more. Obama did all he could during his presidency. Shit, his hands was tied the whole time. Just go look. And then Trump come and trying to get rid of everything that the man did in his presidency. That's like he racing. That's worse than what they did to some of the kings in Egypt. They chiseled them out of history. Yeah. This man is cut the nose off her, cut the ears off her, redo this or redo that. I mean, Trump doing the same thing to Obama for, you know, and it is sad. And it is sad that as black people that we look at things like that, but we have to make sure that we're not crucifying our own just like everybody else.
Yeah, it's hard to get out of that mentality. It is. You gotta notice it first.
That's the first thing.
And conversations like this will help, because that's the whole purpose. Like having a conversation. June 19th.
I never knew what it was. I had a job in college.
You still don't know what it is?
I know what it is now. I'm gonna explain to you the first time I ever heard June 19th. Man, great brother. I was in college at the time working at ESPN Zone. One of the brothers come to work hard every day. The week of June 19th came and I'm going on vacation. I'm going to New Orleans. I said, what you going to New Orleans for? He never take off. He said, oh bro, it's Juneteenth. That's how he said it. Yeah. It's Juneteenth. I said, what the hell is that? So he started explaining to me what it was. And man, for me to know that's when slavery received their independence, because everybody didn't know when slaves was freed, when they first was freed the first time. This came as when the second group started knowing it was June 19th, and that's why you got Juneteenth. That was the secondary freeing of the slaves, and that's crazy. That I actually I'm excited that I learned that from another black man, and and we could pass that on. But I don't think a lot of people actually even know that.
Well,
that everybody didn't even know they was free until this time.
I think it's regional because, like, growing
They
up
was
in South Florida, we never heard of it.
We never heard of it.
But in Louisiana, Texas,
It's
like
big.
you talked to Drake, my wife knew about it. Like,
yeah, it's big though. It's
in
big.
the South, like in Florida, we never really heard about it, celebrated. But what's crazy is, as black people, we'll go out and celebrate Cinco de Mayo before we celebrate Juneteenth. Because it came and went, and ain't nobody say nothing about it. But last year, I posted some information in the family chat about it, and ain't nobody say nothing or nobody responded to it or nothing.
Then again, though, it's reaching back to what you said earlier about, having conversations and topics like this and radio shows like this to get that information out to the people is the best thing that you could do. Like, I mean, for that to be a topic, I wasn't even expecting that to be a topic on the show. Juneteenth. Like, you made me realize that that's something that I need to start picking up and actually celebrating myself and making sure that I'm a part of it and making sure that other people know about it too also. So, we got to keep having conversations like this and keep getting these messages out, because what else we don't know about? What else holiday what else that's out there that's black people? And that's the thing. Like, my daughter, has a clothing line to touch on these topics to kind of get people to know, and it's called Off Base. And what it's doing is to get people to know that, hey, we giving you mainstream knowledge that's not mainstream. But it's mainstream, it's just not being talked about in the way that you'll talk about a Martin Luther King, or you'll talk about Christmas, or you'll talk about Hanukkah. So what they bringing to the forefront, and they're young kids, they 16 and younger, and what they bringing to the forefront is the knowledge of all these great black things that people did that's not mainstream, but it is mainstream. So the name of their clothing line is Off Base. And the reason it's off base is to make sure people know that, hey, sometimes you might hear something and you might not know what it is. Don't mean because it's off base, it's not mainstream. And that's what they're getting ready to bring back to the people.
We're going to talk about the law of attraction. How do you feel about the law of attraction, and how do you feel it helped you and what you're doing?
Man, that's a great question. I'm very into the law of attraction. I felt like I lost my job. I was a warehouse manager, night shift warehouse manager, and I ended up losing my job. And going home, I didn't know how I was going. When you're a manager, it's a nice life you're able to live. So to lose a job like that, it changes everything. And you really have to get your shit together fast, because you don't know where your next check is coming from. So, one thing, I had a strong woman behind me, and she told me, babe, find yourself, find who you is, find out what you want to do. So, it took me a couple of weeks, and I scrambled around, and I went around, and I Googled this, and I searched this, listened to this podcast, listened to that podcast, and I saw a clip from Will Smith. I'll never forget this. And he was talking about law of attraction. And I actually went to his website because of what's the guy from In Living Color, the white dude, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was speaking on law of attraction, but I didn't understand it when Jim Carrey was speaking on it. But he got it from Will Smith, and he talked about Will Smith's story. So I went in, I looked up Will Smith's story, and when I looked up Will Smith's story, he was explaining about building brick by brick, piece by piece, wall by wall. It kind of resonated a lot to me, and I was able to understand what it was talking about. But I really think the law of attraction is great, and I really think it works. It involves a couple of things, and I think people get the whole thing of visualizing and doing these things. This law of you think this way. It's actually a combination of all those things that makes law of attraction work. for law of attraction works, the first thing you have to have is the ability to think the way that you want to think. The second thing you have to be able to do is take those thoughts that you're thinking and be able to act upon those things that you're thinking. And the third thing you have to do is be able to have the emotion to already receive those things and already know that those things are coming to you. So it's more about realigning your life and just about imagining things coming to you. You know, you actually are taking control of everything that's going on in your surroundings. You're taking control of the way you think. You're taking control of the way you act. You're taking control of your emotions. You're not letting your emotions lead you. You're leading your emotions. So therefore, you're going back and you're setting yourself up to where people can't, the things that people say, the things that people do, it won't affect you because you already know the things that's getting ready to happen to you. And it won't let you think a certain way. It won't let you talk negative because you already know the thoughts is the thing that controls my reality. And so I think once people understand the law of attraction, I think once the world starts practicing the law of attraction, the world is going to change for the better. How do you feel about the law of attraction? I know you practice it also. So what's some of the things that you that happened to you that you saw? And I know me and you got similar stories.
I mean, I believe in the law of attraction. I don't study it like you do. I don't feel like, I think it just comes natural.
But you're not wrong though, because that's your practice and that's your experience. Because it worked for you in a way that you believe that the thing, and that's another thing about the law of attraction. Belief is the biggest thing. So whatever you believe, it's gonna work for you. So I don't disagree with your story. I understand your story because that's how it's working for you.
Nah, it's the law of attraction is good, but I just believe in putting in the work.
You got to.
Whatever you want. Like it say in the good book, faith without works is dead. Like if you
that's so true.
If you don't work towards nothing, you ain't gonna have it. Whatever you want, if you work towards it, you gonna get it and you gonna have it. Because when I look at me starting this podcast, I mean, I thought about it. Hell, I've been thinking about it for 10 years. But until I decided to buy the equipment, buy the first piece of equipment, then buy the next piece of equipment, and start doing it, hell, I mean, this is recently new. Like,
so basically, what you're saying is that the idea was always there. This was always here, also with it, because once your action changed, that's when you received it. See, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that makes the law of attraction so great is that you could, once you have the thought, you can own it. But once you have once you do the actions, you receive it.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest part about law of attraction. That's what I like about it so much. Another question, not a question. I just want you to talk about it after I talk about mine. Both of us have vision boards.
Yeah.
I could go and I don't want to say everything that's on my vision board, but I could go back and I could look at my vision board and I could see things steadily falling off of my vision boards that I accomplished. Could you tell your story of how you went 1 year, everything that you put on your vision board came true in just that 1 year?
Yeah, it was amazing. Hell, I made another one. I ain't finished that one though. But the first one I did make, yeah, that was eye opening. That one I made it before the year was out. It's damn near everything. Damn near everything got accomplished.
And it's crazy that I don't even share my vision board. It's actually in my bathroom at one of my houses. And you know, to have family, you know, my dad, he saw my vision board, and I didn't even know he knew what it was, what it was up there for, what I was doing. But when he saw it, you know, he said something to me, and he's a great guy. I love my dad. I talk to him every day. And, you know, the thing he told me, he said, shit, when I saw it, he said, ain't no way he could get all that. That's why it's not good to let everybody see your board. And at the time, I wasn't expecting for everybody to see my board. We just had family. It was the event that caused where I gave up my room to my mom and dad. So, you know, but at the same time, my dad he said that, But at the same time, he's looking back at my board and he's seeing that the things that I had on there, I'm accomplishing those things. And it's amazing to him that he never thought that somebody just one, let alone one of his kids, could be able to do the things that he seen that was on that board. And now he's a believer that everything that he saw on my vision board, I could accomplish.
Yeah, that is a great practice, man. If you don't believe in it or never used it or never tried one, it's great.
It's the start though, because it really gives you some. It really gives you a focus of what you're working on. And I think once you focalize the thought, you focalize the energy. It's just like a laser. That's all a laser is. Focused energy. And I think the law of attraction, all it does is line up all those energies. It line up the thought with the action, with the emotion. And the belief, all that comes with it. So once you line up those things, I think that's what really makes the law of attraction for me.
Briefly, when you talked about losing your job, that you had a strong black woman beside your side, and did you hear the song "Black Man Don't Cheat" by Lil Duval featuring Charlamagne?
Never heard it.
Oh, okay. It's a new song that's out, and I didn't want to the song is okay, but people was down talking it and saying how black man don't cheat, like with air quotes, like talking negative about it. But how do you feel like being faithful to your wife has helped you and steered you in the path?
Well, I mean, when there's not no outside energies, I mean, all you could do is just work on you and YouTube. I mean, where YouTube just working is one. And I think that's the advantage that it gives me over a lot of people, that, you know, that my wife, our visions, our thoughts, our actions, it all lines up. It's not nothing outside. It's not nothing on the left side, nothing on the right side. It's just us going straight down the middle as one. And I think that's the thing that helps us the most is it's not, you know, we're not working for nobody else. We're not hiding this from each other. We're not hiding that from each other. It's helping us to come and be able to have conversations that normally people don't have. You have that with your other partner. And I think me and my wife, we're able to give ourselves those conversations and have them with each other and not our significant other as being married. Oh man, me and my wife, we date. We still date. We still set things up. It's still fresh. It's still new to us. And I've been with her 13 years, and it's still 14 now this year. It's still new.
So what would you say to like the younger guys who coming around and still having fun and still doing their thing?
Well,
how would you tell them to focus their energy?
I actually, it's good that you asked that because I try to talk to young kids when I see them and they look like they in love, they this or that, and they actually are working. We got a person in our family, and I was seeing him and his girlfriend, and I was actually telling them the benefits of them staying together, of them trying to do things apart. If you got two incomes coming together in one household, you got one person making $50,000, one person making $50,000. That's $100 combined as a house in a household. If you see that, if you could see how far just you being by yourself will get you, once you start understanding, if you bring somebody as an equal into this partnership, how much further you could go. And then once that happens, it actually build you up to do things even bigger, because you start giving her confidence to do things bigger. She started giving you confidence to do things bigger. Then both of y'all start giving each other confidence to do things bigger. And it just make it for a great relationship. And it's like almost the impossible coming true when you really just sat down and you become a one-woman man.
Yeah, so it's a lot of benefits. It's the benefits outweighs
the women. It might be different. But for a man, I mean, it ain't no more satisfaction that you could have that being with somebody that want to be with you. I mean, to be with somebody you don't know, it's almost scary.
Then you got a lot of other things to deal with.
But my father, he been with my mother that way, so he kind of taught us the way. So, you know, as me being the son, I kind of like to follow my father's footsteps also too. So he been married to my mom now, going on I think 37 years. Shit, and it's been the same thing. And you know, I seen my mom have a stroke, and I seen my dad make sure that he never left her side. And when they told him that she had to go in a nursing home, he told them people he'll quit his job before he let his wife go into a nursing home. So for me to see that kind of love for a wife, it just make me want that same thing. And then I see how his kids treat him, and my mom, and you know, it's an amazing thing to witness.
My wife read an article, and it said the number one thing blacks could do to stop police brutality is other blacks joining the force. But like growing up, it's been a stigma on black people like joining the force, like being a cop. Like that's an honorable profession, but we don't really look at it like that in our community. But that need to change.
Right. And two, for us, we got friends that's police and that's correction officers, and hell, like not even just friends. Like and I've been pulled over by the police before, and they smelled marijuana in the car, and I was honest with them, and I let them know, hey, that's all I got in the car. I got a half a joint in the car. I'm on my way here, going here, and I'm smoking. He said, you know, I'm going to search your car. If that's all you got in there, he said, man, I'm going to throw this shit out and I'm going to let you go because you was honest with me. So again, I goes back and say everything goes back to us. I'm a person where I used to blame others for my mistakes, but I stopped. And I started blaming myself for the things that I was doing. So the encounter with a police officer going to depend 100% on you. If you able to go to the cop and be responsible and add up, hey, I remember in college, I got pulled over, man, and I knew my license was suspended. The first thing I told the police when he pulled me over, man, I know I wasn't supposed to be driving. All I was doing, I stayed right here. I was going to get something to eat, and I was going right back home. He saw where I stayed. He saw I went in line. He let me go, but I still had to go to court for the ticket. They end up kicking it out. But the only thing that I'm saying, stop being nervous. Stop being in fear. Fear is automatically the wrong thing to do. That's out of love when you living in fear. The number one thing that we could do is always live out of love. If we living out of love, we shouldn't fear no man. And for black people to go around now and call themselves Israelites and call themselves Christians and call themselves this, the biggest thing God talk about is not fearing. So when you live a life of that, watch the love that comes from that. When you're able to be honest with people, accept what you did when the police pulling you over, because all they doing is their job. And I'm glad that they out there. I'm not going to lie to nobody. If your ass out here robbing, motherfucker stealing and killing, get your ass off the streets. Because I go to work every day for mine. And I don't want nobody taking nothing from me and nothing from my kids or nothing from my brothers and sisters that's out here getting it honestly.
Yeah, but we not talking about the cops. We talking about the perception in the black community. That's
being the police. Being the police.
Yeah, the perception. Do you feel like it's a perception or?
Oh, it is. You know, they'll talk about you. Oh, this nigga the police now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that you don't want to have. You don't want to have that stigma to you. So you don't even look into that profession. That ain't even a choice. When actuality, if we police ourselves, if you get people from the neighborhood to become polices, they're going to already understand the neighborhood. They're going to know people. People going to know them. Policing going to become more personal when you start getting it like that. And when things become more personal, people start respecting people as people. And I think that's the thing that we're missing by not having polices come from the black community anymore.
But I mean, it's a lot of cities where there's black people on the force. I mean, I'm just talking about the perception in our neighborhood. Like, it need to be a lot of changes done because, like you said, oh, you the police, like that mind state. Mm-hmm. We got to do away with that, man. It's a lot of stuff.
It's the Jim Crow mindset.
It's a lot of stuff that we've been taught that we gotta erase, man.
Yeah, we have to
get away from. But like living in Atlanta, it's been different. How do you like living in Atlanta versus living in Florida?
the number one thing is coming from Florida, and it's not the worst thing because I got a thriving business in Florida, but to see the way the Spanish took over Florida, and the number one thing that I like about that is that you actually get to see another ethnicity treat their ethnicity a certain way, and then know that your ethnicity don't even treat you the same way when they get in a position of power. To go to Miami, it's hard to get ahead because the Spanish people is in charge, and they bringing their people on faster than anybody else. But you could come here to Atlanta, and it's the opposite. Here, to me, black people got a lot going on, and black people willing to help black people. And it's not like that in a lot of places that I've been to. I stayed in Miami. I stayed in Charlotte. I stayed in a lot of places, and I never seen the way black people are willing to help black people here. It's not going on like that in a lot of places. So I really like being to Atlanta, and that's what brought me back to Atlanta after I got my business started. Is because of the networking that's available to you as a black man in Atlanta. People actually want to see you make it here. They're not looking for you to be the try to be in competition with you. They're actually looking to help you to get the way you're going. And I really like that about the black people that's here. You know, crime is everywhere, but the main thing that's here is the unity when it comes to black people and networking. We ourselves, we have a business group and a business meeting. Your wife part of a business group and a business meeting. So, you know, those things don't go on in a lot of places with just black people. You know, so you have those things here, and we're not the only people that's doing those kind of things.
Well, the last thing I wanted to touch on was travel and exposing your kids to different things. How do you feel? How important do you feel that is?
I think that's the real because our parents did that for us. You know, the main thing that we was able to experience from 6 on was traveling and going out of town and seeing new places. And when you exposed to that as a kid,
they ain't never take us out of the country.
They never did, but they gave us the idea to get there. And what I mean by what they exposed us to, if they took us to Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, DC, Virginia, all these different places, it gives you the idea. Without that thought, who could even think that they could make it to go to out of states, to go to out of the country, when you never even been to out of your state? So it's almost big for somebody who never even took a step to go out of their state. How in the fuck you supposed to even try to get out of the country? You don't even know nothing about no fucking out of the country, and you don't even know how to leave your own town. So I think with my parents giving us the opportunity to be able to travel and to see new things, it intrigued our mind to a point that we wanted to see more, and we learned how to do more, and we learned how to be more. And I think even getting off base with the question a little bit, and I think that was a great question, but I think that's the thing that parents do. They open up the door for their kids to be bigger than them because of what they exposed them to, because what they was exposed to. And I think that's what my parents did for us. You know, even when it came to getting bank accounts, you know, we preached that in our family about having a bank account as a child. We actually give that out as a graduation gift to all the graduates that's graduating out of our family, opening up a bank account. So, you know, it's things that you could do as a parent that's going to intrigue your mind and open up your mind and be totally bigger. And traveling is just one of those things that give you that conduit to where you could do a lot of different things and go a lot of different ways from it, because it opens up your mind to see a lot of different things.
I agree. I totally agree. And growing up, we had friends. Well, I had a friend that the first time they'd been out of the state of Florida was with me. We took a trip to Atlanta. That's the first time, like, leaving the state. I mean, you don't realize when you're going through it, like, how many other people not going through it.
Man.
Like, because when you go through it, you think, hell, everybody take family trips. Everybody have family reunions every year in different states.
Yeah, and when you start seeing that's not the norm, and you start it almost open up your eyes like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Everybody ain't living like this. It make you pay attention to what's going on a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing that I'm working on teaching my nieces, nephews, and kids is that don't take nothing for granted. Make sure you're a participant of what's going on now, because when you get older, you don't want to go down in life. You want to go beyond this in life. And the reason that we do these things for you guys is so you guys can go further than what we went to. And that was the conduit for us to get further. So we just opening up a door for you guys to get further. It was amazing to take my child out of the country for the first time.
Yeah. Same here. And I thought about not taking mine.
And my parents took us to maybe, I said we went to maybe 30 states in the United States.
Like 30.
Man, but they took us everywhere though. We went everywhere.
Oh yeah, we went all the way up the East Coast.
All up the East Coast.
Yeah, we went up and down the East Coast. I'm gonna give them that.
15. I can say 15. I can say 15. We saw 15 just vacation with my parents, but that just led me to be able to take my kids out of the country. Oh man, like it was life changing for my daughter. And I think the same thing with you.
Yeah, when man, going and seeing them kids and seeing everybody on mopeds, and you see 2 kids on one moped, a driver. Wait, it was a driver. Then it was two other kids.
Yeah, it's so different, and they get a chance to see things totally different. Like, oh man, we don't live like that here.
Yeah,
and it's eye opening to them, and you know, it makes them want to really, really, really open up their mind to do things better and bigger. So I think traveling and taking your kids to see new things, it's almost like an adventure that never ends, because once you get older, you want to continue that adventure that your parents took you on for the first time, and you want to go and experience more and more and more. So I think that's a great thing to take your kids on vacation and to see new things.
So we ran through all the topics, but let's talk about you. What you got going on? What you got planned?
Right now, I consider myself as a entrepreneur, and I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. My brothers, entrepreneurs. My dad is an entrepreneur. My grandfather, entrepreneur. My great grandfather, entrepreneur. My great granddad on my mom's side, same thing, entrepreneur. So I consider myself an entrepreneur. Even my daughter, entrepreneur. She has her own clothing apparel. My nephew has his own. They actually partners in this business venture. So you know, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs, and what I'm doing right now is I'm working on building up my family to be we independent of having to have help from anybody else. And my brothers, our kids, and our family, that's the thing that we're working on right now, to make sure that our family be self-sustaining longer than we're around. And that's the thing that I have going on now. I have a couple of bread routes, and we got a small business here. And I have a couple of bread routes in Florida. I have 4 trucks and a van on the road right now. I have 4 employees full time, and I have 1 employee that works for me part time. And we have a small company of logistics that we starting up here in Atlanta at the time right now, and we're looking to grow that partnership up with some people that's here and make this thing bigger than what it is. But just looking to make sure that my family become self-sustainable, and that when I'm gone, that they still making a name for themselves, and they still able to live, and they still able to produce. And I see the world changing so much that if you working every day, you really not benefiting your family. And I think for us to be in a position to help our family, you know, you have to be able to work a little bit. You have to be able to work for yourself a little bit, have to work for others a little bit, but you can't give your total time to just one thing. Like, I admire my brother, like the way he worked with his hands and the things that he could do. I can't do those things, but I could think different than a lot of people. And I think that's the thing that I'm good at. And I don't run away. I don't shy from it. And, you know, I just think that's what it is. But just to answer the question, that's what we got going on right now. Just looking to be greater than what we is now, become more than what we is right now, and just stick to being a family and just making sure when we get ready to do something, we have the freedom to do whatever we want to do as a family. That's what we're working on. That's what I'm working on.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna wrap this thing up. It's been great talking to you.
Thanks for listening.